It's an issue that got people hot under the collar when it was put on hold for 2 years in the Brisbane City Council budget. The replacement, a free Good Neighbour clean-up scheme. But Forest Lake Ward Councillor Charles Strunk says the wait list for the scheme has blown out and dumping of household items had increased in his area. He's on the line. Good morning, Councillor.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you for your interest in this quite unbelievable story in regards to, you said there was a 2 year, not going ahead for 2 years. Well, in my ward, it's actually 3 years because
hang on. So what do you mean 3 years? Explain that to me.
Yeah, no worries. So in the 1920 budget, right?
2020?
Yep, no, 1920 budget, sorry, the financial budget. We were supposed to get a curbside collection, right? And we didn't get it. And 56 other suburbs across Brisbane didn't get it either, right? And then they announced a 2 year they're going to hold off on 2 years more. So we've actually are doing it tough for 3 years, which we paid our rates in that budgeted year for a curbside collection, and we're not going to get it. And that is what people are really upset about.
So what's the Good Neighbour clean-up scheme? How does this work?
Well, they put down some criteria in regards to how you would qualify for that. Now, bearing in mind that 89% of residents who paid their rates are not going to in any way be able to qualify for that because they're under the age of 65, right? But how it works is that you ring up, they go through a series of criteria, and that criteria will either say, yes, we'll allow this good neighbor policy to be enacted for you, and then this is the process, right? But as Maureen and Dirk, a couple of my residents, found out, who were over the age of 70 and have a lot of health issues, they did not qualify. So that's how the Good Neighbor policy is supposed to work, but it's really not a good policy, if you ask me, because it's not working for many people across Brisbane. Okay,
so in your area, Forest Lake,
yep.
What's going on with the dumping of rubbish?
Okay, so the illegal dumping has been happening since the suspension of the curbside collection, because what people are doing, because really the communication about the suspension of it really wasn't good, right? So people were putting it out because they knew the curbside collection was coming up, and right across the city for that matter, and it didn't get collected. So what started to happen was people started to complain. To council would come out, officers would attend and say, there is no curbside collection, you better pull it in. They were probably not, the infringement notices weren't actually issued, they were warned, which was a good thing, right? And I, even with myself in my office, we went out and proactively did this work as well. But it really is sad because a lot of people look forward to this service every year. Maureen and Dirk are one that had a garage full of stuff, and it wasn't until the Lions Club stepped in and said, we'll do it for you, and paid to have it done, that this couple was able to clear a lot of that space in the garage that they wanted to use for other purposes, like maybe put their car in.
Exactly. Exactly right. And I think, Councillor, it's going to happen across the city a lot over the next couple of years while they're not doing the pickup. They gave people vouchers, the waste vouchers, but you've got to get all the stuff in a ute or in the back of your car and get it to the dump yourself. And I think it'll be a problem, and I think it was a fail by the Brisbane City Council. Hey, Councillor Charles Strunk from the Forest Lake Ward, thanks so much for joining us on 4BC Breakfast.